Hi guys, welcome back. Today we are going to learn how to rationalize surds. We've got 3 success criteria, and the first one is to be able to simplify surds. So a surd is a square root which cannot be reduced to a whole number. So for surds, it's helpful to know our square numbers up to 15 squared. So there's the first 5 square numbers. There's the next 5 square numbers. And there's the next 5 square numbers. So we want to simplify root 20. So we need to think about what square number goes into 20. And we want the biggest square number that goes into 20. Now 4 is the biggest square number that will go into 20. So we can write root 20 as root 4 times 5. The square root of 4 is 2. So we can simplify root 20 to 2 root 5. This time we want to simplify 3 root 50. So 3 root 50 simply means 3 times root 50. Now we can simplify root 50 because 25 is the biggest square number that goes into 50. So we can rewrite it as root 25 times 2. The square root of 25 is 5. We can't square root 2, so we just leave it as root 2. And 3 times 5 is 15. So we can rewrite it as 15 root 2. Here's a question for you to have a go at. Pause the video, and when you're ready to see what you should have done, press play. So in this question, we want to simplify 4 root 300. So we can simplify root 300 because 100 is the biggest square number that goes into 300. So we can rewrite it as root 100 times 3. We can square root 100, which is 10. And 4 times 10 is 40. So we can simplify it to 40 root 3. Here are some questions for you to have a go at. Pause the video, and when you're ready to mark your work, press play. Here are your answers. So there's your green answers. There's your amber answers. And there's your red answers. And now we've completed success criteria 1. So now we're going to move on to number 2, and this is to rationalize fractions with a surd as a denominator. So to be able to answer the next set of problems, you need to be confident with calculating with surds. So if you're not confident with calculating with surds, have a look at our video on arithmetic with surds. To rationalize means to get rid of any surd from the bottom of a fraction. When asked to simplify an expression, this means the fraction should be rationalized, so there shouldn't be a surd on the bottom of it. So we want to rationalize 1 over root 2. So we need to think of how we could get rid of root 2 from the bottom of this fraction, but keeping the fraction of the same value. So to do this, we can times the top and the bottom of the fraction by root 2. 1 times root 2 is root 2, And root 2 times root 2 would just be 2. Remember, when we times a surd by itself, it becomes the number in that surd. So our answer is root 2 over 2. Here's a question for you to have a go at. Pause the video, and when you're ready to see what you should have done, press play. So we want to rationalise 5 over root 7. So we need to times the top and the bottom by root 7. 5 times root 7 is 5 root 7. And root 7 times root 7 is just 7. So our answer is 5 root 7 over 7. In this question, we want to rationalise 10 over 3 root 5. We want to give our answer in its simplest form. So to rationalise here, we only need to multiply by the surd part. So we times the top and the bottom by root 5. So 10 times root 5 is 10 root 5. And 3 times root 5, 3 root 5 times root 5 would be 15. Root 5 times root 5 is 5, and times by 3 would be 15. Now we can simplify this because we can divide the 10 and the 15 by 5. So it simplifies to 2 root 5 over 3. This time we want to simplify fully 5 over root 75. So we can simplify root 75 to 5 root 3. Then we times the top and the bottom of the fraction by root 3. This gives us 5 root 3 on top, and root 3 times root 3 is 3, times by 5 would be 15. Then we can divide the top and the bottom of the fraction by 5. So our final answer is root 3 over 3. Here's a question for you to have a go at. Pause the video, and when you're ready to see what you should have done, press play. So here we want to simplify 8 over 3 root 6. So we times the top and the bottom by root 6. So that's 8 root 6 on top. Root 6 times root 6 is 6. Times by 3 would be 18. And we can divide the top and the bottom by 2. So our final answer is 4 root 6 over 9. Here are some questions for you to have a go at. Pause the video, and when you're ready to mark your work, press play. Here are your answers. So you can mark those. Here are some more questions for you to have a go at. Pause the video, and when you're ready to mark your work, press play. Here are your answers. So there's your green answers. There's your amber answers. And there's your red answers. And now we've completed success criteria 2. So now we're going to move on to number 3, and this is to rationalise fractions with more complex denominators. So this time we want to rationalise 2 over 3 plus root 2. So to rationalise this, when there are 2 terms on the denominator, we need to change the sign to rationalise it. So we times the top and the bottom by 3 minus root 2. On the top, that would give us 6 minus 2 root 2. And if we use the grid method to times the bottom together, so 3 root 2 times 3 minus root 2, 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times root 2 is 3 root 2. 3 times minus root 2 is minus 3 root 2. And root 2 times minus root 2 is minus 2. If we add all of those terms together, we get the answer 7. 9 take away 2 is 7, and 3 root 2 take away 3 root 2 would cancel each other out. So on the bottom of the fraction, we just have 7, and so we've rationalised it. Here's another example. So we want to rationalise 5 over 1 plus root 3. So we need to times the top and the bottom by 1 minus root 3. Remember to just change the sign. So 5 times 1 minus root 3 is 5 minus 5 root 3. Then we can use the grid method to times the denominators together. So 1 plus root 3 times 1 minus root 3. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times root 3 is root 3. 1 times minus root 3 is minus root 3. And root 3 times minus root 3 is minus 3. If we add these together, we just get minus 2. So on the bottom of our fraction is just minus 2. If the denominator is negative, we can just change the signs of the numerator. So our final answer is minus 5 plus 5 root 3 over 2. Here's a question for you to have a go at. Pause the video, and when you're ready to see what you should have done, press play. So here we want to rationalise 2 over 5 plus root 2. So we need to times the top and the bottom by 5 minus root 2. 2 times 5 minus root 2 is 10 take away 2 root 2. And if we use the grid method to times the bottom together, 5 plus root 2 times 5 minus root 2. 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times root 2 is 5 root 2. 5 times minus root 2 is minus 5 root 2. And root 2 times minus root 2 is minus 2. If we add these together, we get 23. So on the bottom of the fraction is just 23. That means our final answer is 10 minus 2 root 2 over 23. Here are some questions for you to have a go at. Pause the video, and when you're ready to mark your work, press play. Here are your answers. So there's your green answers. There's your amber answers. There's your red answers. And there's your purple answers. And now we've completed success criteria 3. So now that we've completed the last objective, it's time to end the video. Hope you enjoyed it and hope you found it useful. Make sure to like and subscribe, and be sure to check out the videos on the rest of the channel. I'll see you next time. See ya.